I want to ask you something. Have you ever kept going, one day at a time with no answer in sight? Not a dramatic collapse, not a big breakdown, just waking up, not knowing if today brings an answer, and still finishing the day anyway, then tomorrow, the same. That is the hardest kind of hard. Penelope waited for Odysseus for 20 years. By day she wove, by night she unraveled it. 100 suitors sat in her house, pressuring her every single day to decide. She had no sword, no magic, no god on her side. All she had was time, and inside that time the self that kept holding on. She wasn't weak. She was someone who kept living through time with no answer at all. Let me set the scene. When Odysseus left, Telemachus was still a baby. Penelope was alone, raising that child, waiting for her husband to come home. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years passed, the Trojan War ended. The other Greek heroes came home, one by one. The man she waited for did not. Then the suitors arrived. Over 100 men from Ithaca and the islands nearby filled her palace. Odysseus must be dead, they said. You should marry again. They moved into her home, ate her food, drank her wine, pressured her every day. She couldn't just throw them out. They were too powerful. A woman alone, no king, no husband, not enough strength to stand against 100 men. So she found another way. I'm weaving a shroud for Odysseus's father, she said. Once it's finished, I'll consider remarrying. By day she wove, by night she unraveled it. That trick held for 3 years. Then a servant betrayed her, told the suitors the truth. Her time was running out. Let me say something here. Most versions of this story call it Penelope's loyalty. But I want to talk about something else. Her waiting wasn't passive. Waiting in most contexts sounds weak. He's just waiting. She's not doing anything, just waiting. But Penelope's waiting wasn't that. Her waiting was a choice, remade every single day. Every morning she could have chosen, enough. Maybe he really is dead. I'll remarry. It would be easier. She didn't. Every night when she pulled that thread apart, that wasn't weakness. That motion was her telling herself, I haven't given up yet. Stitch by stitch, woven by day, stitch by stitch, undone by night. Psychology has a term for this, emotional resilience, not feeling no pain, but the ability to keep moving forward while still in pain. Not a single day was easy for Penelope. 100 suitors every day in front of her, eating her food, ruining her home. She felt it every day, and every day she continued anyway. That continuing, that was the strength. Let me take you into her perspective. If she could speak, those 20 years might have sounded like this. The first year he was gone, I thought he'd be back soon. By year 5, the war hadn't ended. I told myself, wait for the war to end. By year 10, the war was over. Everyone else came home. He didn't. I started to think, maybe he really is dead. But if he's dead, why no word? Why has no one brought back any news? Not knowing is harder than knowing. Those suitors come every day saying he's dead, telling me to move on. Maybe they're right. But every time I'm about to make that decision, there's a voice inside. Not yet. I'm not ready to give up yet. Maybe it's not a rational choice. Maybe everyone thinks I'm a fool. But that voice, every single morning, is still there. So I keep weaving. Then at night, I keep undoing it. That way tomorrow I'll still have something to do. And as long as I'm still weaving, I haven't had to say that goodbye I don't want to say. Penelope's story isn't just about waiting for one man. It's about how to keep living in time that holds no answer. Have you ever endured something with no idea how it would end? Waiting for a diagnosis, waiting for word about a job, waiting for a relationship to finally give you an answer, waiting for someone to finally come back, or finally not. That kind of waiting is a very particular kind of torment, because you can't do anything about it. You can't speed up the outcome. You can't make yourself stop caring. All you can do is keep living, day after day, inside the not knowing. Psychology calls this deferred hope. Someone who keeps investing, keeps waiting with no immediate reward. This takes a very specific kind of strength. It's not optimism. Optimism is, I believe the outcome will be good. Penelope didn't necessarily believe that. She had no idea if Odysseus was alive or dead. But she chose to keep waiting, not because she was certain of the outcome, but because giving up was harder for her than waiting. That difference matters. I wait because I believe it'll turn out well, versus I wait because the only thing I can do right now. These are two different things. The second one, that's the deeper strength. Here's something almost no one says. You think Penelope's greatest strength was her loyalty. It wasn't. Her greatest strength was she fought alone for 20 years in a place where no one could see her fighting. Achilles' battles had witnesses. Odysseus' adventures became a story. Penelope's war, every single night alone, sitting there undoing the cloth she wove that day. No one watched. No epic was written about it. No one remembers that moment. But that moment happened every day for 20 years. Some wars have no audience. That doesn't mean the person isn't fighting. Odysseus finally came home. Penelope didn't believe it right away. She tested him through the secret of that bed. Some say Penelope didn't trust him, that she doubted him. But I'd say something else. 20 years had passed. She'd learned not to believe anything easily. That wasn't doubt. That was caution, earned through a long, long wait. When Odysseus revealed the secret of the bed, she wept. That wasn't weakness. That was 20 years finally allowed to put itself down. I want to ask you, are you right now in the middle of a wait with no answer? I'm not telling you to keep waiting, and I'm not telling you to give up. I just want you to know that waiting itself is a war. Every morning you wake up and keep going. That already is a kind of strength. No one needs to witness it. That strength belongs to you alone. Because the world is never quite what you think it is. Wu Talks World. Until next time, full script.